Two, three. All right, guys. Hey, welcome to another episode of Prompt to Product by FormWise. I have a really special guest this time. I've admired him from afar. I've had a chance to talk to him a few times within the FormWise community. His name is John Schumacher. I hope I didn't. I hope I
You got
pronounced
it.
that right, John. John has a awesome background in the info space in helping experts, coaches sell more and sell better online, especially with the anxieties that we talked about in the last episode about is AI going to replace experts? Is AI going to replace your niche agency? Those seem to be the sort of top of funnel anxieties that seem to pop up here consciously and unconsciously amongst conferences and conversations we have with colleagues and even within the Formats community. That seems to be a big driver of people signing up to a platform like FormWise. We see the vibe coding, but I want to introduce John and I want to let him introduce himself because John, he has an awesome background. He's helped Shark Tank clients. You'll learn all about him and we'll make sure to have information about him. But John, why don't you introduce yourself to the FormWise community?
All right. Thank you, Javier. Appreciate
Yeah.
you having me. Hello, everybody. John Schumacher here, johnschumacher.com. For about the last, 12, 13 years, I think it's
Mhm.
13 years now, I've
Wow.
been working with subject matter experts, coaches,
Mhm.
consultants, small business owners, and a
Yep.
few large companies as well to
Mhm.
optimize their offerings and optimize how they sell those offerings online. So for a long time, still to this date, one of my specialties has been online webinars and sales presentations and all that kind of stuff. I've worked with everything, like you said, Javi, from Shark Tank companies, billion-dollar corporations, over 2,800 and counting
Yep.
students and clients have taken my online programs on
Wow.
webinars and offer optimization and then in the last 3 years I've been heavy into AI, as you know,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Like when
Yep.
you guys kind of launched as well,
Yep.
creating and incorporating AI tools and
Mhm.
frameworks and things into my
Mhm.
training programs. And so that's where we sit today, and I'm excited for where we're at. We're in a really exciting time, right?
Oh,
For if you
absolutely.
sell your expertise, now is the time to get on board because
Mhm.
we have some amazing capabilities now that we didn't have just even a year ago.
Yep.
So it's pretty exciting.
100%. And we're seeing it across multiple industries within the, I guess, the expert domain, right? Because there are people,
Yeah.
B2B experts, and then there are direct to consumer experts. There are people who, again, they have a unique experience and they usually have a framework. And I'll let you talk about this because, you've been in this space much longer than I have. Um, how, in the beginning, the first wave, at least say the internet, the easiest way to sort of sell your expertise was transformed by the internet because of cloud. You could sell your ebook now through the internet, or you could sell your course through the internet. And obviously, that was like infinite scale. AI is like another layer of that within the capabilities of how you're able to, I guess, scale your expertise to reach more people, and not just to reach more people, but also what I've seen is AI has enabled coaches and experts to what they're teaching to actually impact more of their students. Like their students can actually take better action from the
Right.
tools that are created. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I wanted to get your take on a few things, John. I'll start with a few questions I had, and then we can
Sure.
dive in and just see where the conversation goes. Um, you mentioned earlier what you mean by AI powered program for experts. What does that look like? How does a coach right now look at their assets, their ebooks, their courses, their webinars? How can they turn that into an AI powered program?
Yeah, so when I say the word AI powered program, what I mean is like incorporating AI into your online courses, your coaching or consulting programs, or it could be your membership offer, your community offer. So,
Right.
for example, I have a program called Webinar Launchpad, which helps
Right.
people create and or optimize their webinars. And
Mhm.
in addition to the video tutorials,
Mhm.
or the templates and frameworks that traditionally made up the entire course or
Yep.
the entire learning management
Hmm.
course,
Hmm.
I've now integrated and embedded with tools like FormWise. You can embed those kind of tools right into either your WordPress page or your Go High Level or whatever you're using, right?
Right.
And you now have an even more impactful multimedia experience for
Yep.
your users, right? So
Hmm.
I have another program called Conversion OS, which helps
Hmm.
people optimize their offers and create not just webinars, but sales scripts and emails and all those kind of things, right? And
Hmm.
so I still have the video, I still have the templates, but I've added to that an AI tool that helps people get things done faster, better, with less guesswork
Yep.
and those kind of things. I have a client that runs a coaching program. I helped him create an AI tool and basically uploaded his brain to it. He
Yeah.
gives
Right.
it to his clients to use
Yep.
in between coaching sessions so they can access his digital brain
Yep.
24/7. I have another gal who runs a community for people who want to knit better. It's kind of an interesting
Mm.
space, right?
That is
Knitting.
awesome. Yeah.
She's built a great brand online. In the old days, it was just a bunch of videos. Now she's incorporating AI tools that help her students select the right sewing machines, the right knitting
Oh, that is
patterns,
so
all of
awesome.
those kind of things. And so AI is awesome in the sense that it moves your clients from guessing at what to do to actually getting things done, right?
Implementation.
We've moved from learning and then guessing
Yep.
to actually like building and using, right? With AI, it helps you not only get better advice more quickly, but also helps you build stuff. So when I say an AI powered program, you can incorporate AI tools trained on your frameworks into
Yep.
your courses, your coaching programs, your memberships, your communities, and get your clients better results.
Hmm.
And it also helps your offers sell better too, because it's more aligned with a modern trend. So there's so many reasons right now, if you're an expert listening to this, to
Yep.
jump on board with this.
Yeah, and I like what you said just a second ago. This isn't necessarily replacing your courses. This isn't like AI is not going to be your offer. You're enhancing your existing assets. You're potentially turning that one-time payment for a course into a recurring product because you have AI tools or your brain. You're basically your expertise on demand within
Yeah,
the portal, within, wherever the portal is. It can be WordPress, it can be Kajabi, it can be, there's so many different membership platforms now. Most of them let you embed things within. Of course, it lets you embed videos, but all you need is a
yep,
code block, and then that lets you
yep,
embed, I mean, really anything you want in there. And I love those examples. I mean, I've seen just in the forums community, I've seen people who served tow truck driver companies, and they have a whole
nice.
toolkit, marketing toolkit specifically for that industry. And what I sort of see as well is, and I'd love to know your thoughts on this, like how important is it to have AI as part of your stack? We know it's important to like enhance and help with the implementation of the end student, but do you see like there being any authoritative secondary value there of, oh, they've established themselves as the AI expert in this space? So I'll give you an example. Back to that tow trucking agency, they have an AI tow trucking marketing toolkit with a bunch of tools. A tow truck company driver is not going to find that anywhere else. They're going to go to this agency, and they have multiple services, but they're not going to find a toolkit specifically made for that avatar. So it feels a little
Yeah.
bit more, definitely more niche, but maybe a little bit, like almost like white glove done for you. But I'd love to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, adding AI to what you're doing, as long as it solves the problem more effectively, because we're still in the
Yeah,
business of solving problems for profit. I always
right,
tell my students that is like, as amazing as AI is, you're still being paid to solve problems. It's just
right.
now another tool in
Correct,
your
correct.
tool stack. So for your
Yep,
example of the tow truck driver, as long as that enhances the user experience, definitely. I mean,
yep,
whenever there's a new with I always like to say with much disruption comes opportunity.
right.
And there's a huge opportunity right now for you, no matter what niche you're in, to think creatively and become a bit of an AI architect. You don't have to be crazy techie or anything, but
Yep.
you do need to be able to see problems, play with AI enough to become a thoughtful AI architect, and then incorporating that into what you're doing. It's going to help you stand out.
Hmm.
Anytime there's disruption, there's a lot of opportunity. Anytime there's a new intriguing trend in
Hmm.
society or in
Yep.
marketing
Yep.
that's going like this, like AI,
Yep.
and if you align with that, you get the tailwinds of that trend behind you, right? Which can make your offer, your business sound more interesting, more intriguing,
Yep.
more cutting edge. And when
Yep.
your potential buyers see that in you, they're more intrigued by you. They're more likely to want to look into you, and as a result of that, buy from you. So I definitely think there's an advantage to, as long as it makes sense,
Right.
right, for your
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
It's you're still solving problems for profit, just like we always have.
Yep.
But I
And
think there's benefits in many cases.
absolutely. And I love your emphasis on value first. We're not just adding an AI widget to add an AI widget. I mean, chatbots have been a thing now for, I would say,
Sure.
almost a decade at this point, almost.
Yep.
And again, we're not just adding a widget inside. We're adding something. It's not a course companion that's just going to collect information. It's a potentially an AI tool that's trained on the content of the course, for example. So
Yep.
yes, I agree that value first approach has to be part of that formula. Otherwise, it's you're just adding another widget that's not actually,
Yep.
like you said, solving a problem. Awesome. Well, I'd love to know, again, you don't have to share all your secrets, John, but we would love to know, of course, you're a FormWise user, but we would love to know, like, where would a coach first start first? Before you even get to the stack that a coach would use, would you suggest that they organize their expertise in a Google Doc? Would you where would a coach start first that has all these assets everywhere and they want to figure out how can I create a tool that makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, let's get a little more tactical.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, let's go through my framework here in a second. I have a
yeah,
specific framework that
yeah,
I share with people looking to build AI tools around their expertise.
yep,
Yeah, as far as tool stack goes, I mean, you could use something like FormWise. I know you guys are doing that, specializing in that.
hmm,
Basically, it's a no-code platform that will allow you to build out what we're about to describe for you, right? And you can
right,
embed it on your site, on your WordPress, your Go High Level. You guys even have login mode, I believe, right? That
yeah,
that will
yep,
allow people to just hook up their
gate,
payment portals
yep,
directly as well. So,
yep,
pick a no-code platform. As far as building out the next piece, which would be the next step, you really want to organize around what would become basically your prompt instructions for the tool, right? And
right,
so I have an acronym I use with my students in my Conversion OS Lab program called PIPO. So it's
yep,
PIPO.
yep,
And I know I just made that up, so don't ask me to quote it anywhere else, but it works and they seem
yeah,
to like it and it keeps their
yeah,
thinking organized.
yeah,
So the first P, so yes, so the first thing you need to think about is the first P. Like what problem? The first P stands for problem. What problem are you trying to solve with the tool? Because once you have the no code
yeah,
platform, you're ready to build it out. It still comes down, as I've mentioned before, what problem are you solving? Are you
right,
going to give your clients advice, timely advice between coaching sessions? Are you going to build a tool that produces a script that helps parents have difficult conversations with their kids? Or are you
mm,
going to have create a tool like I created a tool Webby that helps people write their webinar scripts in one sitting? It's like,
mhm,
what
mhm,
problem are you looking to solve
mhm.
for your client? That keeps you focused on the North Star instead of just creating randomness in your business, which I see. I had a guy who created 22 AI tools. I'm like, dude, where are all these going? It's like, what
Yeah,
problems are you solving? What are the
right,
top 3 or 5 problems that you're solving for your clients that we could build around? So the first P is problem. The next one, the I stands for inputs. So
okay,
once you define your problem,
hmm,
um, and you can do this on a Google Doc, a Notion Doc, or whatever, right? It's going to get
yep,
the meat together of your
yep,
prompting instructions.
yep,
What inputs do you need from the user of your tool? Like, what questions do you need to ask them? What data do they need to give you? Do they need to upload something? to your
Hmm.
tool? Do they, or is it just a matter of answering questions?
Hmm.
Like what do you need from the user of your tool in order to get them towards that result that your AI tool helps them get, right?
Right,
And
right.
then we can program that into the prompting instructions for our tools, right?
Yep.
So the third P, or the second P rather, the third letter, PIP, the third letter is what I call process.
Right.
So it's like, okay, once you know what problem you're solving and what you need from the user,
Yep. Yep.
how are you processing that data? How do you want the tool to interpret what the user gave them, right?
Right.
Is there a
Right.
certain rubric or a
Yep. Right.
certain scoring, or is there a certain series of just questions you want the chatbot or the tool to guide them through, right? But
Hmm.
what is the process? And this
Right.
is where your unique framework comes into play.
Right.
Many of us, as coaches or consultants, we have a process, right? We have a method for getting client from stuck to a result, from I have a question to an answer. And
Right.
and so it's like, how do we can you can prompt that, program that with just
Hmm.
simple language into an AI tool. And then the final letter O is outcome, or excuse me, output. Like,
Output.
what is the output you want
Yep.
from the tool?
Yep.
Is it just general advice? If so, how do you want advice formatted to deliver to the user effectively? Is it producing is the output a script that you want to give the user or something like that? Well, how do you want that output given to the user? What are the titles, subtitles? How do you want the user to get the end result from the
Yep.
chatbot? And I find when you follow those things and you can just map this out on a doc,
Hmm.
you're well ahead of most people as far as creating prompting instructions,
Hmm.
because this is really like, the AI is just the brain behind this. This is what you
Hmm.
give the AI so that it's specific to you, to your methods, to your framework. And when you learn a simple process like this and get good at
Right.
it, it becomes a whole lot easier to create AI powered chatbots or workflows that actually work on your stuff. So that's kind
Hmm.
of what I recommend. And then once you have that together, you
Hmm.
can build out the tool. You could use something
Hmm.
like FormWise, and then
Hmm.
you can just take that tool, either sell it through like login mode or whatever, like
Hmm.
your guys are doing, or you
Hmm.
can embed it on your Go High Level, your WordPress, your Kajabi, whatever. Like you said,
Yep.
anywhere you can embed a
Yep.
text block, right?
Right.
And you can start selling that thing. And now there you go, right? You have
Yep.
a tool that's embedded into your learning process. So
Y- Yeah.
that's kind of how you do it.
That is like the most perfect framework probably I've probably heard online, and I am deep into, because this is a huge shift in the e-learning space, and I know you
Yeah.
have a lot of thoughts about that. I wanted to ask one question about that framework, and for me, I think it's I think it's the most important one, which is the process, the second P,
Yeah.
because fundamentally, like you said, a lot of experts, a lot of coaches, a lot of consultants have that framework. That framework was probably built through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears of your experience
Yeah.
in the industry as a subject matter expert, you might have a book that you wrote about that framework. You might have a webinar, you might have even a lead magnet ebook. Within that, that is a process that fundamentally these LLM models, whether it's OpenAI or Claude, doesn't really know because that is unique to you.
Right.
And I always tell FormWise users not to skip that specific process. We just call it like your framework. You have it a lot more neat in an actual beautiful way of describing it, but we don't want the LLM models to sort of make that part up for you. Sometimes we'll have like a
Yeah.
FormWise user sign up and they're also a coach, and maybe it's just because they don't have it laid out the way you do, but they will collect, they'll start with the problem. Maybe they have a tool that's going to help a business create a better offer. So that's the problem that they want the tool to solve. They're going to collect all of the business's information, but then they kind of leave that P to ChatGPT's expertise to come up with
Right.
the actual process for them. I think fundamentally, like those types of tools aren't going to stand the test of time. because
Yeah.
anybody's going to be able to just, hey, these are the problems I have, and then they could get it straight from ChatGPT. But the process, I think that is unique to the human being, to the coach's brain, as you sort of described it. Um, uh, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, or like that,
Yeah.
or what you think is the most important part of this process, the PIPO.
Yeah, well, definitely the process, the third letter, the P there is your secret sauce, right? And
Right.
to your point, if you want to stand out in a market that's just going to be flooding with SaaS and,
Yeah.
AI generated everything,
Everything.
what's
Yeah.
going to help you stand apart is your unique frameworks and IP, and also the data and experience that you can bring to the tool, right?
Right.
The data will still be a moat to some degree. Your unique sauce will still be a bit of a moat for you and your business. It's the reason why people will buy from you, right? If you think about
Right.
online courses, that's been around for over a decade now. Um, yeah, just because somebody has a course, somebody's bought a course on LinkedIn from one person doesn't mean they won't buy another course on LinkedIn from another person. Why?
Right.
Because they're interested in that person's perspective and that person's unique IP, right? So,
Exactly.
same thing with AI tools, right? It's just
Right.
the evolution of that process. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's definitely. I mean, yeah, you could. I see all these posts all the time, and some of those people are even my friends, and love you if you're listening. But there's so many just, hey, how to create a product in 2 minutes and like throw it up, and and you
Yeah.
can, right? But is that
Yeah.
going to be? And you can even sell it and make some money. I
Yeah.
mean, but is that going to be a differentiator as the market gets busier? Probably less so. It's just
Mhm.
it's going to be so noisy.
Right.
So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
Call me
mean,
old fashioned, but I'm a big fan of learning a skill and using that framework. I'm a big framework guy, as you can tell. So
yeah.
I have frameworks for everything, which is great. So I can just program them into the tools, and it's like, hey, learn from John's frameworks he's used to get X result, and that helps me stand out. Just like in the course world, right? Like,
Yeah.
here's my framework. It's not just the technology. The technology is becoming commoditized,
Yeah.
and generic information is becoming commoditized. What people will still pay for, specific knowledge and expertise, custom data that's incorporated into those systems that will make it different, make it better.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it'll also make your tools, in a sense, consistent with your brand voice, consistent to what you actually teach. And it's going to
Yep.
sound more like you. It's not going to be, because again, you build like a customer avatar AI tool, right? It's going to be different every time. And you're leaving that to generic ChatGPT to come up with the avatar, versus say something that has a framework, say StoryBrand, for example, has a really good customer
Yep.
avatar sort of ideation. I've seen a StoryBrand consultant build a tool using the StoryBrand framework, and it's just so much nicer. It's just a lot more in
Yep.
depth and more valuable, and you could, charge more. John, you've been in the industry now for, you said, 13 years, and you've seen the evolution, as you said, of courses, then podcasts for a while were kind of hot. And yeah, I'm on a podcast. None of that's died, guys. Like courses,
Yeah.
podcasts, all that stuff's still important, especially for top of funnel and content marketing. But what is your, I guess, your instinct with AI being a huge shift in the e-learning space? Does it feel a little bit different? Is it just another wave that eventually it'll feel like courses? What are your like thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I see AI as the evolution of e-learning,
Hmm.
So again, as I mentioned earlier in our talk, it is an additional tool in the multimedia stack of transferring knowledge when the expert isn't there, so to speak. So, I remember when video was brand new. I remember when Vimeo came
Wow.
out,
Oh
or
wow.
Wistia,
Yeah,
or,
whiskey.
they didn't have any live streaming tools when I started, right? So I remember all of these evolutions. And it was like in the old days, people just sold ebooks or text-based courses or those things. And I actually made my first sell was a $17 ebook way back in the day from in a completely different industry. But yeah, I just see it as the evolution, the next medium. to deliver your knowledge to a client. And like to your point, that doesn't mean courses are dead per se. Static experiences, I think, are going to start facing more headwinds, meaning it's going to be less attractive if you're just selling a static course with a
Right.
video and some text or something. I think this is going to become the norm as this
Hmm.
evolves, just like
Yeah.
video when like
Yeah.
Vimeo came out. I remember when YouTube came out, like these tools took their place in at the center of transferring knowledge. And I think AI is that new child now. 10 years from now, it's going to be in everything. It's going to be
Yeah. Yeah.
commoditized
Yeah.
and it'll just be expected, right?
Yeah.
For something like this. So, what helps you stand out longer? Again, your unique IP, your experience. People buy you more than they buy what you do if you're a
Yeah.
coach or consultant, and it's important to keep evolving there a bit. So, I just see it as the next evolution. That's it, and you know, in my courses, you in programs, you'll still see
Mhm.
a video, you'll still see a some
John
PDFs
says,
or templates, but
yeah.
there's also an AI tool there that the client can use to go again from guessing at how to apply things to actually getting things created. And then they
Yeah.
show up to the sessions or they report that they were able to get things done instead of just wondering how to apply it to their situation, right? It's
Right.
just it's an important medium that will become standardized in the coming years, but as we sit right now, as of this recording, it's still coming into play, right? It's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
not all the way there, and you have an
Yeah.
opportunity now
Yeah.
to advance how you do things and stand out in the market.
Yes. It's almost it's adding transfer knowledge for sure, but it's adding that sort of not fully done for you component, but like,
Right.
I see people selling, like I said, courses with these AI tools. You have the agent builders now that do all sorts of stuff. It's really exciting where all this is going to evolve. Over at FormWise, we're also building a agent builder. We're building because that's another thing. Whether the front end is going to be like a copilot, like chatbot back and forth, or a smart form where it's like fill in the blank, submit, and then it spits out what it needs to spit out. We see AI becoming more and more powerful and agentic. And I know agentic, if some of my AI friends are listening to that, I know that's like a big buzzword, but it is kind of where a lot of things are kind of going to. You see ChatGPT has an agent builder where you can connect all sorts of MCPs and stuff like that. There's not a way to really um, wrap that into a embeddable tool. And that's one of the
Yeah.
problems we want to try to solve within the next, well, now that it's, January, within this year, we want to have our first agent builder that will just be behind a smart form, behind a copilot that will go beyond even just a simple prompt. It'll still be prompt based, but you'll be able to call on different actions and we're really excited about that. Um,
Yeah.
well, John, where can people learn more about you? And I know you were gracious enough to have a awesome resource for our audience to go and check out, especially because we have a ton of coaches that use FormWise. I
Yeah.
know I don't want you to give anything away. I don't want necessarily you to give some of your free stuff, like paid stuff away for free. But do you have any resources for our
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm happy to link that up on the page, I think, below this video on your
Yep.
site. So I have a guide that I've put together specifically
Yeah.
for coaches and consultants on 5 reasons why your offer may not sell well in the AI era. There's been a
Oh,
shift in how people see value. There's been a shift in how they expect delivery of that value.
hmm.
And many of us are still trying to sell like it's 2019
Hmm.
when things have shifted in a big way. And so what I've done
Right.
is I've done some research and I've put together 5 key reasons that you should be looking at for your offer or offer idea if you're coming up with something new. So I think we're linking
Right.
that up below the video here. Happy to give that away
I
as a
appreciate
free
that.
guide for people. If they're interested in that, they can check it out below here. Otherwise, you can just Google my name, John
Yeah.
Schumacher, or find me on YouTube. Has been a new focus for me lately.
Hmm. I saw that. I
Instagram.
saw that.
I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to bring my outdated marketing methods up. No, I'm kidding. I'm a big email guy. I have a nice
Yeah.
network of JV partners. That's done really well for me, but I'm definitely putting more of a focus on getting more visible on some of these other platforms in a systematic way. I got a good VA system and stuff going now, so I'm trying to get out there a little more. But anyway, everyone could find me on social, YouTube, or just Google John Schumacher. You'll find my website and a lot
Perfect.
of materials on me. So.
Awesome.
Or
Well,
ask AI, I guess, right? You
yeah.
could
Oh,
you don't
that's
need to
a yeah,
Google
yeah,
anymore, right? Who does
yeah,
that? Yeah.
yeah.
The-
I'm using ChatGPT for all my search engine needs now. But John, we're right at the time. I really appreciate you giving some of your insights to the community. I already know I'm going to send this episode to so many people just personally. I'm like, you have to watch this. Um, but other than that, is there anything else? Any bold predictions for 2026? Anything that you'd like to share before we jump off?
Yeah, like I said, this is a great time for you to jump on right now and incorporate this stuff into your offers if you sell your expertise for a living. Again, this is the new medium. It would be like selling courses without a video these
Okay.
past few years
Wow,
if you're
that's a
not
good,
using it. So you don't,
good way to
I
put
would
it.
just say block a little bit of time every week to start playing with the different tools that are out there. You don't have to be overly technical.
Yep.
I mean, my mom and my mom is starting to use these tools now, so it's not like
Wow. Wow.
it's still you're early enough to still catch waves in most industries, but it'll be fairly standard. So I would say, this is the year you really want to go and invest in it and look at it and incorporate it. Again, start with what problem you're going to solve, right? Don't get bought
Right.
into all the hype. There's a million tools launching every week, but it's still, you're solving problems for profit. What are some problems that you could investigate around and see if you can incorporate AI to make them better for your clients or internally for your own business too? I
Right.
mean, if you do any
Right.
sort of, we're all writing emails and creating social stuff or whatever. It's like, how can you use AI to streamline your internal processes too,
Right.
right? To make
Yep.
things better for yourself. So
Yep.
there's so many use cases. If you're, if you're just sticking your head in the sand on it, I wouldn't recommend that. I don't normally like to peddle hype or follow new social media platforms, but this is a shift, and it's not just it's not going away. It's only moving
Yep.
forward. So
Yep.
take the time to start learning. You don't need to be a coder. You don't need to be
Yep.
intimidated. It's not going
Yep.
to steal your soul or replace you.
You're
You just
right.
need to learn how to incorporate yourself with it. I'm a big fan of having the apps on my phone and talking to it instead of typing to
Yep.
it. That
Yep.
helps me be more productive as well and get more things done. But yeah, I appreciate you, Javi, having me on
Yep.
here. Hopefully, this
Yep.
was insightful to your
Super
community and
insightful.
hopefully inspire them to take some action in
Yep.
26 and beyond. Because it's an exciting time, folks. Like,
Oh,
this is
super excited.
such a disruption that it will cause so much opportunity. And if you can combine being an AI architect with your niche, you are going to stand out. You're going to be seen as interesting, new, and modern, and that will attract more people to you to buy from you. So
Perfect.
jump on board and appreciate it.
Thank you so much, John. I appreciate your time. Thanks, John.
You're welcome.